What is up, guys? It's Jono. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Today, we are going to be talking about literally probably the most underrated automation you can build, something that was literally game-changing to my business, and that is how you can automatically send out text messages, emails, and you can even automatically call a lead using Zapier.com. This actually can increase, and I kid you not, I'm not even kidding, you can search this up online, there's lots of studies on this. You can increase your conversion rate by 391%, and that's exactly what it did for my business. That's not a stat that I came up with, that is a stat that I found online, and I tried it out by, what it is calling within 60 seconds. If you call leads within 60 seconds, you will get 4 times the amount of sales on average, and that's what I did with my business, and it worked. And I'm sure it can work for yours as well, because when people inquire, they want answers immediately, and they likely, more often than not, go with the person that inquires with them first. And we're going to be building an automation to allow you to capitalize on calling, texting, and emailing, all 3 of those, within that 60-second threshold, so that you can start taking your business all the way up to the next level. This is such an underrated automation. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then let's dive in. But before we do, just make sure, guys, to watch the previous modules if you are just diving in for the first time, because I'm walking through a crash course on everything you need to know on Zapier.com by teaching you guys the best automations that you can apply to your business pretty much immediately. There's about 9 or 10 of them that are going to be game changing, right? And I would recommend watching from the beginning. Make sure to subscribe if you're still watching, and like this video for future videos that are going to be coming out after today. Okay, let's dive into it. So in front of me, I have Zapier.com. What we're going to do is we're going to move over to Zaps, and we're going to create a new Zap in our account. Now, last time we created folders. I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a Zap in the new lead folder. And when this takes, it's sweet time loading after like 2 eras, I feel like the time since the dinosaurs have come and gone is the same amount of time equal to how long this has taken to load. Thank you very much, Zapier.com. Okay, so we're just gonna load in. I might just actually go take a nap and come back by the time this loads. I'm just kidding. That's a bad joke. Okay, sweet. So we are in the builder for Zapier.com. Now we're gonna title this New Lead Workflow. So rename New Lead Workflow. Okay, so we have to have one trigger and then multiple actions here. So the trigger is going to be on a lead form. So you're gonna have to, accept leads somehow, right? So if you are a service-based business, or you're doing lead generation, you probably want the first name, last name, email, and phone number of that particular client. So what we need to do to receive this trigger is to build out a form. Now you can do this in Zapier.com, and they do have their form builder, and they do have their tables, but I'm not going to use that. I don't want to have you guys spend more money on things you don't need. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to integrate it right into our website. So if you guys open up your website, I'm just going to use WordPress, but you can literally use any form builder you pretty much want. And if for whatever reason your form builder doesn't have this capability, then I would definitely run and find something else. But what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly go in and build a page on WordPress, just so that we can get to the form builder component, so I can share with you guys how this exactly works. Now, this is going to work for WordPress. This is going to work for probably Wix and Weebly and Squarespace and Go High Level and all the other website builders out there. You can use all the form builders out there: Paperform, Jotform, FormStack. I'm just getting tired of listing them all, but there's so many different opportunities out there, and you can use every single one of them, right? So what I'm sharing with you is pretty much generic across all of these platforms, but we need to load in a form. I'm not going to spend any time styling this page, but here's our basic form, right? And what we want to do is essentially we just want to have a webhook feature. Now, it's going to be different depending on the software you use, but in my case, I want to use, I want to go into actions after submit on Elementor, and there should be something called webhook that we need to find here. So let's just see where it is. Okay, right there at the bottom. I was almost giving up on humanity there for a second. I was like, this is it. There's no hope left. What am I doing? I'm teaching something and it's not even there. I've used this a million times and now it's gone. Okay, sweet. So we got the webhook functionality, and before we do anything, I just want to add in a phone number, right? So on your form, best practice, especially when it comes to automation, is you want to separate the name into first name and last name. And the reason you want to do that is because not everyone has like a perfect name with, you know, one word for the first name, one word for the last name. Some people have like multiple middle names that they'll put in, or like a hyphenated name or whatever. And it's really hard to manage that if you don't collect the first name and last name. So it's really important and it'll give you a lot of peace of mind, and it'll keep your sanity if you just request the first name and the last name, because it's way easier to automate once you have those two pieces of information. So we'll go ahead and we'll create a last name here as well. And last name, and I'm just going to change this back from first name to first name. And we will go ahead and add one more thing. We can get rid of the message here. And this is going to be a telephone number. So phone, and we are going to do phone. This is going to be required too. Okay, perfect. And in the advanced section here, we're just going to go change the ID to phone, and the ID here to email, the ID here to last name, and the ID here to first name. I'm just putting it as an underscore in between spaces, but you can choose whatever you want. Okay, so we have our form here, and essentially what we need to do is we need to make sure that when this form is submitted, right? Somebody submits the form, they fill in their information, first name, last name, email, and phone number. We need to send that information into Zapier.com right here. Right? So how do we do that? Well, the trigger has to be something called a webhook. Now, what a webhook does is it essentially allows you to receive information from thousands or tens of thousands of other applications that don't currently have a native integration in Zapier.com, right? So if we kind of look, these are all native integrations. Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Gmail, they all have their own integrations. But something like this form, it doesn't have its own built-in integration, but it doesn't mean that you can't receive information and go high level by using this form. And how you do it is through webhooks. Webhooks send and receive data, right? So you can receive data into Zapier and use that data. You can also send data to other applications, so you can use it there as well. So that's kind of how you can go about doing this. And what we need to do is we need to catch a hook. So wait for a new post, put get to a Zapier URL. So this is kind of like technical coding jargon, but essentially what's happening here, that all you need to know is that we're sending information in and we're just receiving that information. So we can go ahead and click catch hook, continue, pick off a key child. We don't need to do anything here. We just need to leave this blank. This is just essentially if you want to isolate it down to one specific thing that you want to capture. But in this case, we want, like, for example, maybe you only want the first name, but we want all the data. So we're not going to worry about that. And then it gets to the test step and you have your webhook URL, and you just need to copy this URL here, right? And what you need to do is go back into the webhook section here, which you can just barely see there, and you have the URL, and you just paste it in there. And you click advanced data on, and we publish this, and we're good to go. That is step one completed. So what we can do is we can just preview this, and I'm just gonna fill in this information. So Jono, catlif, jcatlif@gmail.com, 604-555-5545. Man, if this is a real test number, if this is a real number, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry to this person, because I've been using this for so many years. So whoever owns 604-555-5545, I am deeply sorry. Like, I owe you dinner or something like that, because, oh my gosh, I've sent you so many notifications. I'm really sorry. But anyways, so there's the form that's been submitted, and we can go back into Zapier.com and we can click the test trigger down here, and we have officially received all of the information from this form, right? When the user fills out the form, it sends that data via the webhook to this URL here. This URL, once again, that we have here, hooks.zapier.com, was provided in this test step here, right? So if we zoom up, we're just copying and pasting the URL that it gave us here. We're just putting it there. And then every time somebody submits, it's going to receive that data. And that is how you can use webhooks in Zapier.com and how you can receive information from third-party forms, right? So it's super, super simple to do. And the thing I like about this too, is that when you have a native form like this, the page load speed is way faster, right? You're not loading like external scripts from different websites. Like if you used Zapier's built-in like forms and you pasted it here, it might slow down your web speed by like your page load speed by half a second, 1 second, sometimes 2 seconds. When I ran it, it was approximately 1 second that it slowed it down by. But that means that every time somebody tries to go to your page, they have to wait an additional second potentially. You know, around that potentially to be able to access that form. And that could be the difference between somebody being like, F this, I'm going to go to the next result on Google, or yeah, okay, I'll wait until it loads, right? And that can cost you tons of money. So it's just important to keep an eye on page load speed. So that's why I always like to use forms native to the website builder that you're using, because they're way faster. Okay, sweet. So we have this webhook and you can see all of this data that's loaded in. So there's so much data here. Some of this you probably didn't even know existed about this form. Like I didn't even know until now what the ID of the form was or the name of the form. And then you have the field first name ID, first name, and then the title is first name. So this is the ID that I created here. So if we kind of go back out and we look at it, we have, you know, advanced, the ID, and then we have the label and the placeholder. So yeah, so you can see the value, right? So I put in as the value of the first name, my first name, and then I put in as the last name, my last name, and so on and so forth, right? So we have all this data, and now we can use this inside of Zapier.com. Okay, so what do we actually want to do with this data? Well, there's quite a few things we can do. So I'll start with the most basic ones. I'm gonna start with the email by Zapier. So what we can do is we can just send ourselves a new email, right? Saying, hey, we have a new lead. So for example, we can send an outbound email. We'll click continue here. And then it's gonna be to myself, right? So I'm gonna choose my email here. And then because I'm like a emoji addict, I'm gonna go over to this emoji website and make sure I get this bell. I don't know why, it's just so much more satisfying seeing a lead come in when you see the bell or an emoji beside it. Don't ask me why that is the case, but that just happens to be the case for me. So I'm gonna load it. I'm gonna put the emoji in here. Oh my gosh, okay, it didn't load. Never mind, it did, it was just slow. Okay, and there we go. So we have the bell emoji and then we can say new lead. Perfect. Okay. And the body of this new lead. So I'm going to put the bell emoji again. New lead for, let's just say automation.com. Let's just say that's my my website here. And then we can say first name, oops, last name, email, and phone. Okay, perfect. So we have all this, we want to pass this information in. And where we get this information is by inserting the data, right? So essentially it provides us with all the results that we received in all the steps before it. So we can see all the results from step one. Now, if we put another step here and we did the same thing, we'd have all the results from step 2 and step 1, right? So all the past data you can leverage moving forward. So I'm just going to come back to the action step here, and we're going to enter, the technical term is map. We're just going to map in the correct values here. So if I just want to filter it down, I can type in value here, and I'll type in first name value for first name, and then last name value for last name. I know there's like a raw and value. I mean, in this case, they're just the same thing, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. You can put whichever one you want. And then email value, and then we also have the phone value as well. And there we go, we can click continue. And I'm gonna test this step. And then I'll go into my email. And we're just gonna take a look and see that we got the result. I just wanna make sure. Oops. Okay, just give me 1 sec here. Okay, sweet. So here we go. we'll go into the email and just take a look and make sure that we have indeed received that email, and we have not received it yet. So let's just see if it ended up in the spam. Okay, here we go. So we can just report this as not spam. This is just a friendly reminder that when you use Zapier to send emails, like it's fine to send it to yourself because you can mark it as not spam, and then every single time after that it won't be marked as spam. But if you use their email builder, it's going to be sent from their domains, right? And their domain may have been marked as spam or blacklisted on many different servers and or blacklist sites, and because of that it just ends up in spam moving forward. So the best thing to do is to probably use your own Gmail account to do this, or use it from like your CRM, for example. So in this case, what we could do is we could add a step here instead, and we could do Gmail, and we could send it to ourselves from our Gmail account, right? So that's just one option. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it as is. We've unreported it as we've flagged it as not spam, so it should be fine. It'll come into the normal inbox moving forward. But you can see phone number, email, last name, first name, all of that kind of stuff. So now we have an email going out to us, right? So that's pretty sweet. So as soon as you get that, you can call the lead, right? Now, the next thing that you're gonna probably wanna do is you're gonna want to send yourself a text message as well. So you can also do the same thing, but with SMS for Zapier, and you can send a text message to yourself. So we can go ahead and click continue, and then we just have to sign in here. And it's going to ask you to verify this phone number. You cannot send text messages to unverified numbers, so this is pretty much only good for you. But this is just a quick, easy way to send text messages using Zapier. So we just go ahead and test that number out with the same person. Sorry, one more time. I'm just kidding. I can't use that. So what I'm going to do is enter in my real phone number here. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have sent the PIN to myself, and I can go ahead and continue here. And now I have access to sending myself text messages. Okay, perfect. So we can just choose a from number. It can be a random number, and the message can be literally the same message that we pasted here. So we'll just go back in here and copy all of this, and then we can send ourselves a message. I would actually prefer to not have it random. I'd prefer just to have it from one number, so I can like label that as in my phone as Zapier sending me a text message. And then there we go. So we can test this step out. So I'm gonna test this step, and on my phone here, I'm gonna just wait and see if that came in. So we got a message right there. I'm not sure if you can see it there, just at the bottom. So that's all good to go. So we have received the text message from Zapier and an email from Zapier. Now, the next thing that we'll probably want to do is we want to send a email to the client, right? And we want to say, hey, thank you so much for inquiring. We'd love to jump on a call with you, blah, 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 whatever you want to send. And we can do that through gmail.com. Cool. And we are going to choose the event, send an email. We're gonna have to sign in with the correct Gmail account just to give it authentication so that it can send emails on our behalf. Okay, cool. And we're gonna continue and just allow this. Sweet. So we're allowing Zapier to send emails through our Gmail on our behalf. And really what you wanna do here, I mean, you can send any subject line or body line that you want, right? This is just gonna totally depend on your business and what you wanna send your clients, but we do need to send from an email. So in this case, we're just gonna go ahead and search up email, and we're gonna send it to the client email. Remember, this email that we got here is what they filled out on the form here, right? So they gave us their email, and now we're sending them an email based on what they provided. If you want to CC other people in, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. And then you'll just choose yourself. You're going to be sending it from your own email, and you can choose whatever name you want. I'm just going to use my own. And these you can leave blank if you want to, or you can just enter in the email that you want them to reply to. And then thanks for the subject line, we'll just make something up. Thanks for inquiring, and we'll put first name here. And we'll put the value there. So thanks for inquiring, Jono. And we're using the company automation.com. Sweet. And we're going to use plain text here. You could do like HTML if you wanted to, but I would recommend for the majority of users out there, unless you know how to code, to use body plain. And then we can just write a response to them. Hey, first name. Hey, first name. Thanks so much for inquiring about our automation services at automation.com. I'm super interested in learning more about your business needs. Are you available to jump on a quick call to discuss your needs? You can book a time with me here. And then you just enter in your like Calendly link or whatnot. So let's just say calendly.com/Jono or whatever. And then you'd be able to get them to book there. And then you just sign off automation.com. Sweet. So we have an email here that we'd send out pretty much immediately to that particular client. And they're going to receive that email too. So I'm just going to skip this step for now. You know what? Let's just go ahead and test it. And it has sent, so we should receive that. So thanks for inquiring, Jono. Hey, Jono, thanks so much for, there's so many Jonos going on here. It's like Jono Inception, but thanks for inquiring about our automation services at automation.com. I'm super interested in learning more about your business needs. Are you available to jump on a quick call to discuss your needs? You can book a time with me here. They can click there, fast Jono. Okay, sweet. So far we have essentially created a form. We've sent the information to Zapier. We've sent ourselves a text message and an email to effectively jump on a call with that client as quickly as humanly possible, because the faster we jump on a call, the more likely we are to close the deal. And then we have sent them a email so far. Now, the last thing that we want to do here is we want to make sure that we can, first of all, call the client, and also that we can send a text message to the client. Now, in Zapier.com, there is tons of different ways that you can send text messages. You know, you can use something called Twilio. It's a third-party software that you can sign up for and send text messages through there. I probably wouldn't recommend this because this is more towards app developers rather than anything else, but that's certainly an option. Now, what I would recommend doing is sending it to your CRM. So what I would recommend is having a CRM on that you store all of your contact information, and then you can call and text and send emails through there. Like personally, I wouldn't even send an email to the client through Zapier.com, but if you want to, you certainly can. So what CRM you use depends on, you know, what your preference is and what you're currently using right now. But for me, what I like to do is use something called Go High Level. I've been using this for years. It's definitely the best CRM that I've ever used, and I can't speak highly enough about it. I will put a link in the description down below if you guys want to give it a shot. I do get a referral on that. If you don't want to pay me and you just want to go straight to the website, you can pay the same amount and go sign up here if you want as well. But essentially, I highly recommend using this. This has just been an absolute game changer because it's like the CRM automation capability is off the charts, in my opinion. You can pretty much automate everything, and combining Go High Level and Zapier is like such a deadly combination because it means that pretty much everything that you possibly want automated can be automated. So for the rest of this, I'm going to share with you guys, and you can take this with a grain of salt and use the CRM you want, and you can pretty much do what I'm going to share with you in most CRMs, hopefully, if they're, you know, up to date and they have the capability to do basic functions. But for the rest of this course, I'm just going to be using Go High Level so I can show you guys what that looks like. So you can't type in Go High Level here. There's not actually an integration. So what you need to do instead is use Lead Connector, right? So that is what they call it, because Go High Level, you can white label it. You may have even used Go High Level, you just didn't know about it because it's white labeled under like a marketing agency's company. But you can add people to particular, you can add them to particular campaigns, right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to continue, and this will make sense in a second as we kind of walk through this. We need to sign in. Okay, so it's gonna ask for an API key, and we need to go into the settings to get that API key. So effectively, what we can do here is we'll go in to the settings here of Go High Level. And we're just gonna copy this API key. All right. And if we scroll down under Business Profile, there should be a API key here, and we're just gonna copy this, right? And then once we get this API key, we can now return to Zapier, and we're just gonna connect it in together. Okay, so I went ahead and I connected it in there, and we'll click Continue. And we're gonna choose a campaign to connect this into, right? So for example, I just made a test campaign here just to kind of show you guys. It's called Test, and maybe I just wanna, yeah, okay, so I'll copy this in and I'll just choose this campaign. I probably have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of campaigns in here, and even just as many test campaigns too. Okay, so it's gonna take me like just a couple seconds to find it. So we found the workflow test, and then we can add in information about this client here. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and type in first name, and we'll map all these fields together again. Last name, it's gonna be a bit tedious when you're starting out, just because you really do have to do some repetitive tasks, just copying and pasting it in. But we'll do last name equals Catliff, and then phone number equals, okay, this is just taking a bit of time to load this in, but phone number equals phone number, sweet, and then email equals email. Cool. So we have entered in all the information related to this client, and then we can click continue. So essentially, when it reaches this step in Zapier, what's going to happen is it's going to add this client into Go High Level, which is also called Lead Connector, and then it's going to update their first name, their last name, their email, and their phone number. We got these values from the webhook here. We got this webhook from the form that they submitted here, and now we're going to enter them in as a new client in Go High Level, and then we're also adding them into this workflow called Test that I built here, right? And then I'll kind of share with you guys what this looks like when we enter them into this workflow. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna give this a test. So we can click test, and it's going to add this contact into the CRM, and then it's also going to send them into the test workflow that we just built, and we should receive notifications pretty quickly here. I just had to remove myself from Do Not Disturb, so that may have delayed it here. I'm just gonna test this one more time. And effectively what we've done is we're gonna send out 2 text messages to confirm that we did receive the lead. And then, a text message and email to ourselves saying, hey, we got this lead, we should call them. And then we're also gonna simulate me being both the client and the sales rep, where we receive the lead, we also send notifications to the person. So for example, in this message, it says new lead, first name, last name, email J and then my email here. This is the exact same thing that we did in Zapier.com, but instead, if you didn't want to do it in Zapier.com, you could also do it in your CRM, for example. And then we can send an email with the same kind of deal saying, hey, we received this new lead. And then we could also send a text message to the client being like, hey, Jono, thanks for inquiring with automation.com. I'd love to jump on a call to discuss how we can help. You can book an appointment with me here. And then also it sends an email to that person being like, you can book an appointment with me here. And then you can see this outbound call where it automatically connects us into a call within 60 seconds, maybe even like 10 seconds, honestly, after they inquire, we jump on a call. But realistically, you can do this with most CRMs. It just depends on which one you want. I am going to be creating a course on Go High Level, and I actually will link up here where I walk through exactly how you can build out this workflow from start to finish really quickly. So you can take a look at that if you guys are interested in Go High Level and how to build out what I just shared with you here. But essentially just the Spark Notes is you can go into your automation builder, you can create a workflow, and then once you create a workflow, you have the ability to effectively drag and drop text messages. Similarly to Zapier.com, you can send text messages, you can send emails, you can have calls, all of this kind of stuff. You can delay, sending emails for certain times. So it's very similar to Zapier.com, that you just have like an automation builder and you can really take it to the next level when it comes to email and text message communications. So that's it in a nutshell. Effectively, what we did here was we ended up having a website form that we sent the information to Zapier.com. We collected that in a webhook, and then we processed that information. We sent ourselves a text message and we sent ourselves an email just letting us know, hey, we have this new lead that's coming in and you should probably call them. And then what we did was we also sent the lead email from Gmail. And then if you want to stick just within Zapier.com, you can also send a text message through a software that you can integrate directly in Zapier.com. And then we lastly added that contact into our CRM, which in this case we use Go High Level. And effectively what that did was it allowed us to store that contact's information so that we have a contact in our CRM. We can start, sending text messages, emails, and calling that person straight within Go High Level and having a record of that person that updates progressively over time to keep our records tidy, organized, so that we can be on top of leads as they come through. And this is how you can save a ton of time, right? And this is just, like a quick automation that we built out. In the next modules, we're gonna get more and more advanced where you can effectively automate entire invoices or documents and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to get progressively more complex. And through this, you're going to be able to really understand how you can leverage Zapier.com to make tons of money by, essentially helping other businesses automate their processes. You can go on Upwork.com, you can fill in an application and start, not fill in an application, but you can join Upwork and you can start selling automation services. You can use this for your own business. But effectively, this is, one of the best automations you can build out, because speed is everything when it comes to lead. It's important to call quickly, and this is how you can get on top of that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you have any ideas for future videos. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you like this content. Click the like button. If you guys want to reach out for consulting or help, you can send me an email or DM me on Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.